राज्यसभा में बोलते हुए केंद्रीय स्वास्थ्य मंत्री हर्षवर्धन ने कहा, मंत्री समूह रख रहा है कोरोना वायरस पर पूरी निगरानी। वहीं विपक्ष के हंगामे के चलते लोकसभा 12 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित। दोबारा बहाल होने पर स्वास्थ्य मंत्री लोकसभा में भी देंगे कोरोना पर बयान। केंद्र और राज्य सरकारों ने कोरोना वायरस के प्रसार को रोकने के लिए प्रसार किए तेज। मानव संसाधन मंत्रालय ने स्कूलों से कोरोना के खिलाफ जागरूकता अभियान चलाने की दी हिदायत। अब तक 29 मामलों की पुष्टि। चीन में कोरोना वायरस के मामलों में आई कमी, लेकिन इटली में स्थिति बिगड़ी। मरने वालों की संख्या बढ़कर हुई 107। अगले 15 दिनों के लिए सभी स्कूल बंद। सऊदी अरब ने मक्का मदीना यात्रा पर लगाई रोक। कोरोना के खतरे के कारण जर्मनी के लुफ्थांसा एयरलाइंस ने 150 उड़ानें की रद्द। निर्भया मामले में फैसले का दिन आज। दिल्ली कोर्ट आज 4 दोषियों के खिलाफ नया डेथ वारंट करेगी जारी। राष्ट्रपति रामनाथ कोविंद ने चौथे दोषी पवन की दया याचिका की खारिज। पहले 3 दोषियों की दया याचिका भी हो चुकी है खारिज। मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग मामले में ईडी ने जेट एयरवेज के पूर्व सीईओ नरेश गोयल के खिलाफ कसा शिकंजा। मुंबई स्थित आवास पर की छापेमारी। माइकल ब्लूमबर्ग ने डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टी से अमेरिकी राष्ट्रपति पद की दौड़ से खुद को किया बाहर। जो बाइडेन को समर्थन देने का किया ऐलान। सुपर ट्यूसडे के नतीजों में जो बाइडेन ने अपने निकटतम प्रतिद्वंदी बर्नी सैंडर्स को दी मात। सिडनी में 2020 महिला विश्व कप क्रिकेट के फाइनल में पहली बार पहुंचा भारत। बारिश के चलते इंग्लैंड के खिलाफ सेमीफाइनल हुआ रद्द। दूसरे सेमीफाइनल में ऑस्ट्रेलिया की दक्षिण अफ्रीका से होगी भिड़ंत। नमस्कार, आप देख रहे हैं डीडी न्यूज। मैं हूं आंचल गुलाटी गुंबर। तो आइए अब डाल लेते हैं इन सभी खबरों पर विस्तार के साथ नजर। संसद के बजट सत्र के दूसरे चरण का आज चौथा दिन है। दिन की शुरुआत में ही विपक्ष के हंगामे के चलते लोकसभा दोपहर 12 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की गई। वहीं स्वास्थ्य मंत्री डॉक्टर हर्षवर्धन ने कोरोना वायरस की स्थिति पर राज्यसभा में बताया कि N95 मास्क और अन्य उपकरणों के जो एक्सपोर्ट्स हैं उनको नियंत्रित किया गया है। जांच के लिए 15 लैब बनाए गए हैं। 19 और तैयार किए जा रहे हैं। एक कॉल सेंटर भी स्थापित किया गया है। केंद्र पूरी तरह से किसी भी स्थिति से निपटने के लिए तैयार है। उन्होंने बताया कि प्रधानमंत्री खुद इस मुद्दे पर निगरानी रख रहे हैं। अभी तक कुल 29 मामले सामने आए।
China today reported 31 more deaths from the new coronavirus epidemic, taking the country's overall toll past the 3,000 mark, with the number of new infections slightly increasing. At least 3,012 people have now died nationwide in the outbreak that first emerged in the Wuhan city capital of Hubei province in December. Most of the deaths and cases have been recorded in Wuhan, which has been under an unprecedented lockdown along with the rest of Hubei district since late January. Meanwhile, China is seeing a rising recovery rate of the novel coronavirus disease, with over half of the patients in epicenter Wuhan having been cured. In addition, 2,652 patients were discharged from hospitals, and the number of serious cases were reduced by 390, and 6,250 quarantine patients or people were released from medical observation. As China continues to see more and more cured patients discharged, there is a growing concern towards cured patients' possibilities of spreading the virus after they were tested positive for the coronavirus after recovery. Meanwhile, Italy has closed all schools and universities until March 15th as the number of deaths from the new coronavirus in the Mediterranean country hit 107. Italy reported 28 more deaths on Wednesday, the highest single-day total to date. The nation of 60 million people has now recorded over 3,000 cases and only trails China in terms of total fatalities. Italy has borne the brunt in Europe of a disease that is now spreading across the world faster than it is in the central Chinese region, where it was first detected late last year. The problem for the Italian government is that existing restrictions, including a quarantine of 11 towns with 50,000 people in the north, have failed to stop the outbreak. Meanwhile, the country has asked its people to stop greeting each other by kissing or shaking hands to limit the spread of the new coronavirus. Well, back in Asia, South Korea's total number of novel coronavirus cases, the largest outside China, approached 6,000 as authorities reported 145 new infections today. The total stood at 5,766 with 35 deaths. According to the Foreign Ministry in Seoul, so far 36 countries and regions have imposed a blanket entry ban on people who have recently been in the south. Nearly 90% of the national total came from the southern city of Yongbyon, with more than 4,300 cases confirmed there. The Korean government proposed an extra budget of 11.7 trillion to address the epidemic's impact and improve the country's infectious disease prevention system. Scores of events in the country, from K-pop concerts to sports seasons, have been cancelled or postponed over the contingent, with schools and kindergarten breaks extended by 3 weeks nationwide. The U.S. House of Representatives overwhelmingly approved an $8.3 billion bill to combat the spread of the new coronavirus and to develop vaccines for the highly contagious disease, sending it to the Senate for final passage. Reflecting the urgency among lawmakers to address the growing coronavirus crisis, the House voted 415 to 2 against on the bill just hours after negotiators unveiled its content. It includes money to expand testing for the virus, which has infected at least 129 people in the United States. 2 more deaths were reported on Wednesday, taking the U.S. toll to 11. With the White House backing the effort, congressional leaders worked to win quick passage so that President Donald Trump could potentially sign it into a law this week. Under the bill, over $3 billion would be devoted to research and development of coronavirus vaccines, test kits and therapeutics. No vaccines or treatment for the virus are currently in place, but patients can receive supportive care. Meanwhile, California Governor Gavin Newsom on Wednesday has declared a state of emergency over the coronavirus in the state, which has now 53 confirmed cases. He also called for cooperation of locals in the fight against the corona menace in the state.
Number of cases in the state of California is 53. And as I noted, I want to just acknowledge that with 53 tested cases positive, this is no longer isolated in just one part of our state. This is broadly shared as a burden and responsibility up and down the state. And I want to thank local leaders, including those that today, I think wisely and appropriately advanced a similar proclamation in the city and county of Los Angeles.
In response to the coronavirus epidemic, German airline Lufthansa will ground 150 aircrafts out of its total fleet of around 770. 25 of the 150 grounded aircrafts are long-haul jets. Lufthansa Group Airlines, which includes Swiss, Brussels and Austrian Airlines, had earlier said that it would reduce the number of short and medium-haul flights by up to 25% in the coming weeks, depending on how coronavirus spreads. The airline said on Monday that it was extending the suspension of flights to China until April 24th, to Tehran until April 30th, and reducing services to northern Italy due to the outbreak. Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, has suspended the year-round Umrah pilgrimage over fears of the new coronavirus spreading to Islam's holiest cities, an unprecedented move that raises fresh uncertainty over the annual Hajj. The kingdom said the suspension was provisional, but with the Umrah attracting millions of people annually, the decision has a huge potential impact. The move comes after authorities are alarmed over the spread of the coronavirus across the Middle East last week, suspended visas for the Umrah and barred citizens from the six-nation Gulf Cooperation Council from entering Mecca and Medina. Saudi Arabia on Monday confirmed its first case of the novel coronavirus after one of its citizens who had returned from Iran tested positive. The rapid global spread of the novel coronavirus will wipe out any hope of stronger growth in 2020, according to the International Monetary Fund Managing Director, adding that a third of the fund's 189 member countries were now affected. The fund now expects 2020 global growth will be below the 2.9% rate for 2019, and revised forecast will be issued in the coming weeks. The president or the managing director said that after speaking to the IMF steering committee, earlier the IMF had said that the virus could shave 0.1 percentage point of its January global growth forecast. Back home, it's judgment day in the Nirbhaya gang rape and murder case as Delhi court will issue fresh death warrant for the 4 convicts after President Ramnath Kovind rejected their mercy plea of the last of the 4 convicts. On Wednesday, President had rejected the mercy petition of Pawan Gupta, one of the convicts in the Nirbhaya gang rape case. The President has already rejected the mercy petition of the other 3 convicts. The Supreme Court is scheduled to hear the plea filed by the centre challenging the Delhi High Court verdict. The Delhi High Court had held that the 4 death row convicts in the Nirbhaya case should be executed together and not separately. Back to Parliament on the 4th day of the second leg of the budget session of Parliament today. Opposition uproar continued in Rajya Sabha over the violence in northeast Delhi. After Union Health Minister's statement in the upper house, members put forth their views. Immediately after this, opposition members struck to their demand over the Delhi violence issue. As pandemonium continued by opposition members, Chairman adjourned the Rajya Sabha proceedings for the day till tomorrow. Meanwhile, in Lok Sabha, the Mineral Law Amendment Bill 2020, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Second Amendment Bill 2019, the Aircraft Amendment Bill 2020 are under consideration and likely to be passed. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has termed technology as a great enabler and called upon young SPs to embrace technology for better policing. He said technology can change constants into variables and makes a huge difference. He was delivering the inaugural address of the 3rd Young Superintendents of Police Conference in Gurugram this morning.
Technology is a great enabler which reduces your constants, converts your constants into variables. If you are in your day-to-day working in a police station, if your beat constable or the people who are having counter-terrorist, who are fighting terrorism or who are in left-wing extremism areas, they face certain problems. They face certain situations. Then they try to find out, are there technological solutions? And they may not be something which is the great technologies. Even some applications, innovations, probably may make it.
Fugitive diamond merchant Nirav Modi has filed another plea for bail to be heard by the High Court in London today. Nirav Modi had already been fighting his extradition to India on charges over the nearly $2 billion in the PNB fraud and money laundering case. The 49-year-old is making his 5th attempt at getting bail on the basis of a change in circumstances. Last week, Nirav Modi appeared by a video link from his prison before Judge David Robinson at the Westminster's Magistrates Court. Well, Jet Airways founder Naresh Goyal and few others have been booked by the ED in a money laundering case. The ED is conducting searches at his premises. ED says a criminal case against the former chairman of the airlines has been filed under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act and after taking cognizance of a recent Mumbai police FIR filed against him. The Enforcement Directorate carried out raids at Goyal's premises in Mumbai on Wednesday and also questioned him after filing the case. The Mumbai police FIR pertains to charges of alleged fraud by Goyal and others against a Mumbai-based travel company. Goyal had earlier been grilled by the Central Probe Agency in a case filed under the Foreign Exchange Management Act in September last year. ED has alleged that in the past, the businessman's empire had 19 privately held companies, 5 of which were registered abroad. The agency is probing charges that these firms allegedly carried out doubtful transactions under the guise of selling, distribution and operating expenses. The ED suspects that expenses at these companies were allegedly booked at fake and high costs, and as a result, they projected huge losses. A full-service carrier, Jet Airways, shut its operations in April last year after running out of cash. Well, moving to some more international stories, Mike Bloomberg has dropped out of the US presidential race and has endorsed frontrunner Joe Biden. Bloomberg put in a disappointing performance on Super Tuesday when 14 states chose their preferred Democratic candidate to challenge Republican President Donald Trump in November's election. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Mike Bloomberg tried something that hadn't really been done before. He ignored the first 4 state contests, instead focusing all of his energy on the 14 states voting on Super Tuesday. And he spent a lot of money in the process, $500 million of his own money, largely on TV advertising. But at the end of all of that, he only managed to pick up the US territory of American Samoa and a handful of delegates in some of the